What's the longest secret you've ever kept? 43 years. That's how long I kept the biggest secret of my life. When I was 8 years old, my mom started acting really strange. She'd disappear for hours without telling anyone where she was going. She'd come home with groceries we couldn't afford, new clothes for me and my little sister Emma. My dad worked construction and barely made enough to pay rent. We lived in this tiny apartment where the heat barely worked in winter. But suddenly we had steak dinners and cable TV. Emma got a brand new bike for her birthday. I got school supplies that weren't from the dollar store. I asked my mom where all this money was coming from. She knelt down, looked me straight in the eyes, and said something I'll never forget. Tyler, I need you to promise me something. If anyone ever asks about our new things, you tell them Daddy got a raise at work. Can you do that for Mommy? I was 8. I trusted her completely, so I promised. But I was curious. Kids always are, so I started following her. Every Tuesday and Thursday, she'd walk to the bus stop downtown. She'd ride it for 20 minutes to this fancy neighborhood across town. Houses with 3-car garages and swimming pools. She'd go into this big white house with a circular driveway and rose bushes everywhere. She'd stay for exactly 3 hours. Then she'd come home with cash stuffed in her purse. I started imagining all sorts of crazy things. Maybe she was cleaning houses for rich people. Maybe she was babysitting. Maybe she was doing something illegal. One day I got brave and followed her all the way to the house. I hid behind a tree and watched her use her own key to go inside. After an hour, I knocked on the door. This old man answered. He was probably 70, using a walker to get around. He had kind eyes and wore a cardigan with coffee stains on it. Is my mom here? I asked. His face lit up like Christmas morning. You must be Tyler. Your mother talks about you all the time. She's in the kitchen making my lunch. I walked inside. The house was huge but felt empty. Family photos everywhere, but they were all of strangers. This old man lived completely alone in this massive house. My mom was cooking soup and folding his laundry. She was organizing his medications and reading him the newspaper. She was taking care of him like he was her own father. Tyler, what are you doing here? She looked panicked, like I'd caught her doing something terrible. The old man, his name was Walter, smiled at me. Your mom is my angel. She keeps me company and helps around the house. I don't know what I'd do without her. That's when I understood. My mom wasn't doing anything wrong. She was taking care of a lonely old man who needed help, but she was embarrassed about it for some reason. Walter became like a grandfather to me. Every time I visited, he'd show me his old war medals and tell stories about flying planes in Korea. He taught me how to play chess and always had butterscotch candies in his pocket. He paid my mom to cook, clean, and just talk with him. His own kids lived in California and Florida and never visited. He had all this money, but nobody to share his days with. This went on for 3 years, until Walter died peacefully in his sleep on a Tuesday morning. At the funeral, his lawyer pulled my mom aside. Walter had left her $10,000 in his will, enough for us to move to a better apartment and for mom to take some college classes. But here's the part that still gets me. My mom made me promise to never tell anyone about Walter. Not Dad, not Emma, not anybody. She was afraid people would think she was taking advantage of an old man, or that they'd judge her for working as basically a maid instead of getting a real job. So I kept that secret. Through high school, when kids asked why we suddenly had nicer things. Through college, when I wrote essays about my family's struggles and left out the Walter part completely. I kept it when Dad died 10 years ago. I kept it when Emma got married and asked about our childhood during her wedding speech. Even when Mom got Alzheimer's and forgot Walter completely, I still kept her secret. When she'd ask me about money we used to have, I'd just say Dad worked extra hours. Last week, I was cleaning out Mom's house after she passed. I found a shoebox full of letters hidden in her closet, all from Walter's family. Turns out his daughter Lisa had been writing to thank my mom for years. Walter had told his whole family about the wonderful woman who took care of him when he needed it most. In one letter, Lisa wrote, Dad said your mom saved his life. He was so depressed and lonely before she started coming. She gave him a reason to get up every morning. We'll always be grateful. Another letter from his son. Please tell your mom we consider her family. What she did for our father was pure love. He died happy because of her kindness. They never thought she was taking advantage. They were grateful someone cared enough to spend time with their dad when they couldn't be there. All these years, I kept a secret that never needed to be kept. My mom was ashamed of being kind. She was embarrassed about loving someone who needed love. 43 years of carrying that weight in my chest. And it turns out the secret wasn't shameful at all. It was the most beautiful thing she ever did.